I'm not unmuted. What's up, good peoples? Welcome to Relationship Thursday. I'm hoping that y'all are having a good day thus far. All is
Hey,
well. How you doing, babe?
I am good. I am lovely.
I'm
I'm
not
wonderful.
unmuted. What's up, good peoples?
Oh,
Welcome to
what's going on?
Relationship
Oh, you gotta
Thursday. I'm
mute
hoping that
somebody's
y'all are
mic.
having a
What's going on? We are live on YouTube, and this is Relationship Thursday. Are we still muted?
No, I think we good.
It
We
say
good.
that on there. Y'all, we are so happy to be here with you tonight. And let me tell you, if you just was watching, I know other folks will continue to come into the room who have been watching. If you just watched the latest episode of our podcast, our new podcast, Relationship Cheat Code, then I hope you feel like things are a little miraculous in the atmosphere right now. Because when I tell you, that thing was good, that thing was good. And that's what we're talking about tonight on Relationship Thursday. We're talking about miracles in marriage
Hmm.
and in general, but specifically looking at our relationships because so many times we don't perceive what's really happening and what's really going on because we are so caught up in the funkiness. Would you agree?
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy to be consumed by the hard ish that's present in your life and in your relationship. But, as we saw in that episode, it's truly a testament to a lot of times just moving with faith and walking with belief.
Mm-hmm.
But the important piece here is walking.
Yeah.
Walking. And so not just having like that blind faith where you just sit there and you just believe that all will be well.
Mm-hmm.
You do want to have that belief, but as we all know, faith without works is dead. And so it's really important that again you take action and put the action behind what it is that you're doing. So whoever watched it, I commend you. Whoever didn't watch it, make sure you go back and watch it. We're gonna
Why is it
recap some of the
grainy on?
things
Why it look like that?
because it was definitely a powerful episode, a very inspirational one. And you said that you got kind of teary-eyed during the course of the episode, huh?
Yeah, I did. I did. And so we got to straighten something up here, y'all. Give us one quick second. So for those that some folks are online on YouTube and some are our Blamley is here in the Zoom room. Um, so just for clarity, we have a YouTube channel, right? And so you can go and find our YouTube channel, online on YouTube, Black Love and Marriage. But in that is our new podcast, and so you can find the podcast and you can see the episodes that have come out so far. And so this last episode was with the Wealthies, Wealthy Jeff and El Marie, and they were just talking about pushing through. And one of the things that comes up for me so many times when I think about some of the difficulties that folks are dealing with, whether it's when they come into the Blam Core community or I'm just talking to folks on the regular, is that, and we talked about this actually in a recent episode we did just recently, we just recorded, is that, people just have a low tolerance for difficulty. I just think that today people have a low threshold, like the
Yeah.
patience don't be patiencing. Is that a word? It don't be flowing. You know what I mean? Like we just don't have the appetite for really doing what's needed in order to be able to go to the next level in our relationships. And I remember in a conversation that we had not that long ago with somebody, um, a sister, a wife said, why is it that we won't go through the evolutionary process with our partner? Like our partners are evolving all the time. We are evolving all the time.
Hmm.
Why won't we go through it with them? And this is not to say that we should be able to take everything, deal with everything, whatever, but we won't even make room for the miracles.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? We won't even make room for, for something new and mind-boggling to
Hmm.
happen because we have very rigid parameters on what we expect and what it needs to be like and how it needs to feel. And so whether we're tapping out in real life, like I'm done, or we're tapping out emotionally or mentally and we're done, none of it is okay, y'all. None of it's
Mm.
okay, and we got to make room for the miracles. Yeah, Tahisha says the episode was so refreshing. I know their connection and their laughter and their authenticity is like it's
You
just
know, I'm,
infectious.
I'm curious to know if you watched it, whether you're on YouTube right now or in here in the Zoom room with our Blamily. If you watched it, what were some of the takeaways? I spoke toward the end of the podcast episode about The fact that Tasha, she spoke about the challenge that she was having as a mother,
Mm.
and trying to manage all of the things and the feeling of being emotionally flooded, and
Mm-hmm.
that sense of overwhelm where it's not like I feel pressure, but it's like I feel like I'm drowning. And the thought crossed her mind to just end it all.
Yeah.
And so, I'm just curious to know whether or not anybody has, been in that space where they felt like, I'm barely keeping my head above water, and sometimes I actually go beneath.
Mhm.
And then I gotta swim my way back up to the top because it just feels so heavy and feels so overwhelming. Life be life, and the kids be kidsing, the wife be wife, and the husband be husbanding,
Really,
the
boo?
job be job, and everything be inging. Everything is just that. And
Yeah, it's
so,
true.
again, when you see a situation in which sometimes, and what I expressed too was that, like, the thing that came up for me was like wade in the water.
Mm-hmm.
Just wade in the water, and God's going to trouble the water. And
Mm-hmm.
in troubling the water, you'll get clarity around what direction you need to move. What's the next step?
Yeah.
How you need to navigate the situation. And so, when she shared that story, to me, it was truly powerful and a testament to the fact that, like, you can be there, but you ain't got to succumb to being there.
Yeah. And she said, what if I had not, just pressed through? I would have missed all of this. And
Mm-hmm.
when she's saying this, she's talking about just the growth and evolution of her marriage, the joy she's able to experience now. They're not in that space anymore. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like she would have missed out on all of that. And so there are miracles happening all of the time,
Mm.
all of the time. And so I just want to park there for a second because in our community, we talk about all the time, we talk about wins. We say, what are your wins? How are you winning? You coming to talk about the problems, oh, but you are responsible for bringing up a win first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what? How are you winning? And for some people, sometimes the win is just that I'm here. Like I logged on here and I clicked on this Zoom because other than that, I'm done,
Mm.
right? Like that's okay. But you got to be able to see what the wins are. And this is important because if you don't, then you actually will start to believe your mind's hype. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
our minds, man, they take anybody know what I'm talking about? Your mind can take over and be telling you all kind of stuff. You be creating all kind of narratives. All of your insecurities will be popping. All kinds of things will be happening, and so you have to have a counter. You have to have a way to counteract your own self. I'm gonna say this real quick, and then I'm gonna pull back from this. But this piece around our mind is so important, y'all. And you're like, but we talking about marriage, yes, because you won't perceive the miracles that are happening in your own life, in your relationship, if you don't have the right mindset and you are not miracle grounded. You're not looking for miracles, you're not looking for that, you're not looking for the possibilities. And one of the things that I think is important is that you have to actually assess for yourself, and we talk about this in our Blamely and our Blamco membership all the time. Are you growth minded, or are you fixed? You have a fixed mindset. Like when you retire, you on a fixed income. Not everybody, but a lot of people on a fixed income. And that's how I be. Like you like this is what it is, this is what I'm experiencing, this is what's going on. He's all presented a collab with Usher, what in the world? It's gonna always be like this. Or whatever. Hold on, let me get my husband's I don't know how this
Hit the
thing.
pause button right there.
Where? Excuse
On
us.
here.
You see his phone just came on and the thing.
They,
If that had been me, he'd be knocking me under the table. He'd be glaring at me.
I'm just
What
saying,
you
like,
doing over there?
nah, I'm just curious to know. And do not disturb is on. Like, that's crazy.
Well, I know the answer.
Nah, that's really interesting. Like,
It's an Android issue.
really,
Ba
bro.
ba ba ba. I'm
Why she
coming over
got?
to the
Why she?
iPhone land.
No, I mean, that's really crazy right there.
So let me say this, y'all. I don't even know what I was saying. That thing just took me up by somewhere. Lovely lady on YouTube said, "I need a miracle." But I was talking about fixed, right, versus growth, and so many of us are are fixed, and so we gotta be able to look to the light. We got to be able to see the possibilities. We got to be able to be encouraged by what can happen, and be able to perceive what is happening, even if it's just inside of us. Maybe it's not inside of our partner, and maybe it's not the way that we want it to be, but in some way, somehow, I am being shifted. I am moving. I am changing. I am growing because I decide that I will.
Mhm.
And that in and of itself is a miracle. Because I know that there are so many people who have been through some things in their relationship that are so doggone raggedy that it's hard to even perceive being out of the space and being in a different place. And
Yeah.
I think that they were just a wonderful example of that tonight, going into the Target. And if you don't know what we're talking about,
Mm.
again, if you came on late,
That Target
Blamily
story was
or
crazy.
YouTube folks, just look at the episode that was released today. You can go to podcasts on our YouTube channel, and that came out today. And we interviewed the Wealthies, Wealthy Jev and El Marie Wealthy. And going into the Target, they talked about years ago, she went into the Target and she didn't have money for clothes for her baby. And just looking at the clothes, but being so overwhelmed that she couldn't get them, but just touching the clothes, kind of in prayer and asking God to help me, God. Man, that thing just gets me. And then went into the bathroom and broke down crying. And I like how you said that that was an invitation. See, even our tears, even our ability to break down. This is
Mm.
what we say all the time inside of our community. Your ability to come in to talk to somebody, to share your story inside of one of our classes or our support groups, to open up your mouth and allow yourself to get emotional, to feel the feelings, is an
Mhm.
invitation for healing.
Mm.
You cannot heal alone. You cannot go to the next level alone. And it will not happen either just with you and your partner. That's really not how growth happens. All human beings are wired for connection, and we're wired to be able to get some things that our husband can never give us, that our wife can never give us, our children can never give us, but we've got to be able to open up. And that's one of the greatest dangers I feel like couples have, individuals who are in relationships have, is that we're holding things close to the chest so much that we don't allow the light to come in by allowing ourselves to soften up and just say, I'm struggling. So her going in that Target bathroom and going in there
Yeah.
and just letting it out, just bawling in the bathroom, allowed the woman to wait for her. Oh, go listen to it if you ain't listened to it. To wait for her to come on out, so she could just give her a hug and say, it's not gonna always be this way.
Mm.
My God, right? And who knows what that kind of vulnerable energy put out into the atmosphere. And so then when the sisters then came and said something to her and gave her some positive energy, what that then sent out to the angels and to God, who then sent a wind over to the person who they knew from way back, who said, let me just send the baby some clothes, that answered the prayer of the mother who didn't have the money, walking around in the Target just touching the clothes and looking at them because she didn't have no money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Marsha, that was so powerful to me.
Yeah.
Like everything is not going to look the way we want it to look, but we must have faith,
Mhm.
and we must allow ourselves to be vulnerable and to
Mhm.
open up and to share and to not hold it all in. It's so important.
Yeah, one of the things that we lift up is that vulnerability is really a gateway to a heightened level of understanding of self, but also of your partner too.
Hmm.
And when you are able to access vulnerability, what it does is it's like, you can have a concoction, or you can have some stew, you can have some soup or whatever it may be, and the ingredients may be sitting and they may settle down at the bottom. But when you get vulnerable, it's like the stuff is starting to stir.
Hmm.
The energy is starting to move. And as a result, the whatever sediments or whatever elements were down at the bottom of the pot, they now start to move around and become a part of whatever vegetables might be in that stew or might be in that soup. And so again, you need that vulnerability in order to activate something in your life and in your relationship. And when I say something in your life, again, it's that vulnerability that's sending out energy, that's moving stuff in your favor, that's moving stuff in your favor. And so it's really important, y'all, that you don't dismiss that. And again, with that vulnerability, not only there's a requirement of you to express yourself, but it's also a requirement for you to act as well too. And so they kept it moving, y'all. She got a job, and not only did she get a job, but they ended up, moving to a different place, and then being pregnant
Hmm.
and getting evicted at the same time. Like, yo, I couldn't even imagine. Like, and you know, just me as a man. Um, and I asked Jevin a question because I was curious because a lot of men we grapple with this whole piece around provision and what our ability, what it says about us when we are having
Mm-hmm.
challenges around our ability to provide. But when I even asked him that question, his immediate response was one like, "What you talking about?"
Mm-hmm.
Like almost
That's
like, I
good.
mean, it don't. I mean, sometimes I'm up, sometimes she up, sometimes we both up. Like it's not. It don't have no impact on my. I know who I am. And so I thought that that was refreshing because, again, a lot of times men are limiting themselves in terms of their idea and belief about what manhood is, just simply based off of their ability to provide.
Right.
Again, he says, sometimes I'm up, sometimes she's up, sometimes we're both up, sometimes I'm Mike, sometimes I'm Pippin. But the most important piece is that through it all, we're still on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
That's what mattered most. The friendship, the unity, the connection, the intimacy, the vulnerability, and the fact that we're doing it together. And so a lot of us are like placing so much emphasis on getting to the bag, and we're placing not enough emphasis on getting to ourselves first and then getting to each other.
Yeah.
We getting to the wrong thing, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yes,
really
indeed.
are.
Yeah.
And what they showed you in that episode was that like it's that friendship.
Mm-hmm.
It's that friendship that matters. Let me ask, how many of y'all have seen their videos? Especially Wealthy Jeff. Have y'all, if you type a one in the comments, have you seen their videos? Like he got over 1 million plus followers on TikTok. He does these videos
You
outside
can
of the
find
kids'
them on
schools and
Instagram or wherever
yeah,
at
yeah.
that
He'd
Wealthy
be
Jeff.
you know, wherever. So if you have not seen him, make sure you go and follow him and his wife. But
Mm-hmm.
another important piece was the emphasis on family too,
Mm-hmm.
like just putting that as a priority and the importance that you know making sure that he's present and that they're present in their children's lives play.
Mm-hmm.
It's significant, y'all.
Yeah. This is good. You know what? I want to share two things that I think would be really important in terms of action items that, everybody can walk away with tonight. Can you leave it here for me, please? That everybody can walk away with tonight so that um, you actually think about, if I want to keep the light, if I want to keep the positivity, if I want to keep myself from going to a heavy place or know how to get out of the heavy place, if I'm going there or my partner is going there, what is it that I can do to really keep myself balanced and grounded? Because that is half the work. That's half the work, not letting your partner's funky energy take you all the way down and not letting your habits of being funky take you all the way down, whatever that means to you. And so there's a couple of things that I really want to emphasize. And this is something that um, I don't know who came up with this, right? But this is something that is important because, why did it say that right there, babe? Because sometimes we're in such a funky place in our relationship or in our own selves that we actually have to really do a hard, how somebody tell you make a hard left or a hard right? Like we got to really yank ourselves and our relationships out of that place. And one of the ways that y'all can do that, you can do that by developing what's called a hurt-free zone policy. All right, hurt-free zone. So if you feel as though, man, I need to get to more inspiration, more encouragement, and really need to be able to be able to see the goodness of what is possible, then you got to be able to get into a hurt-free zone, particularly if you all are kind of like negative all the time, or y'all are just arguing, or y'all are having conflict, or y'all ain't connecting. And all that really means is that criticism is not allowed for a certain period of time. All right, y'all catch that? Like there can be no criticism, no feedback around like I don't like this or you be doing that or anything like that. It is used, a hurt-free zone is used when there's a lot of defensiveness going on in the relationship. You can barely have a conversation without it kind of going left. When there are hurt feelings, whether or not you want to acknowledge your partner's hurt feelings or not, but it's there because they've told you or because they ain't talking to you. But like when it's just sticky, stanky, stiff in the relationship, then you can really just say, we're going to shut down the feedback. And this is another way of shutting down even problem solving. Somebody type that in the chat, shut it down.
Hmm.
Sometimes we have to learn to shut the problem solving down, shut the feedback down. Well, Iana, why would we do that? Ain't we grown? We trying to get through some things and try to resolve some things, but sometimes you have to shut it down. And you have to tell yourself in your brain, shut it down. Why are we shutting it down? Because we need to nurture a space that brings in the light. We need to nurture a space that removes the toxicity,
Hmm.
the stack up of negative communication, the layers and layers of negative emotions. And sometimes this needs to happen, depending on what you're dealing with, for at least 3 to 4 weeks. Like, wait a minute, but we've been dealing with this thing for the last 5 years, and we're trying to get, well, it's been 5 years you've been trying to get over it. You'll be all right for 3 or 4 weeks to just not talk about it. Ba, 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 bow. Bow, 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 bow. Just don't talk about it. We're going to shut it down. This is a hurt-free zone. And when you do that, what you do is you trigger your brain individually, and you also trigger a different pattern in the relationship, because now whatever kind of autopilot things that you do, the things that you say, the sarcasm, the little stuff, right, the stuff that y'all can't do that. You better go write it in your journal, but you can't say it.
Hmm.
So now you got to come up with something else, and now you are forced is kind of strong, but you are shifted into connection, perhaps, hopefully, if you're open. You're shifted into productive conversation. You're shifted into being curious about your partner again. You're shifted into some other things that you don't even talk about no more. You don't even think about no more, because you're always trying to figure out, well, what are we doing about this? So hurt-free zone is something that you can do at least for, I would say at least for a week, depending on what you're dealing with, but you can certainly go up to 30 days. You can go up to 30 days. And how, no matter how, if you feel really resistant to that, like, like, so we supposed to just be sitting here and not dealing with blah, blah, blah for 30 days or for 1 week or 2 weeks, like, if you feel really resistant to that, and I'm saying that because that would probably be me, because I'm like, I want to get to the issue. You probably really need it. You really need it, because the ones who really want to get into it the most are the ones who need to be quiet and
You
connect
know,
in a little bit more.
so I'm curious. I love the hurt free zone idea,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a collaborative approach to
Mm-hmm.
healing, and also to solving issues in a relationship.
Right. You gotta agree on it.
Yeah, and I'm also curious to know whether or not you have your finger on the pulse of the relationship, or even on the pulse of your partner, to the degree to where you are keenly aware that you need to pull back.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that because a lot of times we're experiencing an overwhelming amount of stress and agitation, sometimes out of our own selfishness, we're looking for relief. And because out of our own selfishness, we're looking for relief,
Yeah.
we're pursuing our partner to try to get some relief, to try to get some resolve.
Mm-hmm.
But so what I'm asking of you is whether or not you have enough discernment, to know when enough is enough, and whether or not your partner is at their threshold.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so again, this hurt-free zone is phenomenal, and it should definitely be done. And I would even say, in the midst of that, or even outside of that, make sure you're not just focused on what it is that you want to do, the answers that you need, the engagement that you're looking for, but pay attention to your partner's bandwidth too.
Yeah.
And so is your finger on that as well? And if it's not, then that's a problem, y'all. It's a problem, because fundamentally what you're doing is existing in a relationship where you're just self-absorbed,
Right.
and you're self-centered, and you're self-focused, and you're trying to, again, assuage whatever anxiety, concerns, or hurt or overwhelm that you feel, but you're not taking into consideration what they might feel. So I'm encouraging you to, of course, do your work, and at the same time too, be aware of what's happening within your partner too.
Mm. That's good. That's good. That's very good. All right, so I got one other thing that I want to share, and if you have questions or thoughts, go ahead and drop them down. We'll answer them for you. But when we think about this light, And the difficulty. When I think about the interview we did with the Wealthies, and also the Tillmans on the episode before this last one, these are folks who've been together for a long time, and they talked about like conflict that they've experienced, how they're different in their personalities, and how they've had very intense, conversations. And what did Tasha say? She said I was rebellious. I didn't want to do none of this stuff that he was talking about, right?
Hmm.
Like she was just in a place where she wasn't trying to hear it. So it's not that they're not experiencing challenges or conflict or what have you, but somehow they're able to make it through. And one of the things that I know is helpful for us, and I've seen this, in other folks' relationships who are successful, is that it would be disingenuous or inauthentic of me to say that, once them 30 days is up, or, at no point ever again do you need to complain or say that you're, not satisfied with something, because that's not real life. And so the goal is that if you're complaining, is to complain without blame. That's the goal. That if you're going to complain, first of all, complain is a funky word. We don't really like
Hmm.
complaining anyway, right? Versus sharing how you feel. But real talk, we all complain in some way at some point in time. But if you're doing that and you're doing it without blaming, you're just naming the issue. You're talking about how frustrating it is. Um, when I think about, like, for example, I can share in our own relationship. Um, if you follow me for a while, I'm pretty transparent about the fact that I be doing a lot. I be having a lot going on. I'm the one who a lot of times be initiating the stuff, and then I be overwhelmed. Like, this is a lot. My husband be looking at me with a slow turn, like, well, your ass is the one who
Yeah.
decided to sign us up. And so all of that to say that when we're in spaces where we're having to make some decisions around like how we're going to move and flow with our family, with our business, like how those things conflict or whatever, align or whatever, a lot of times, not a lot of times, but a decent amount of times, my husband and I are in different places.
Hmm.
Like I'm like, oh no, we're not doing that. We don't need to do that. We going over here with the family and we're gonna do this. And he like, yeah, but we need to go over here and do this because this is gonna be a power move, right? And we're kind of tugging back and forth on how we should move and how we should flow. So it would be, and I can't say that I ain't never said nothing like this, but it would be very emotionally unintelligent of me and not productive of me to say, well, you just don't, do you value the family, especially if we're in a place where I'm saying we need to do this with the kids, and he's like, no, we need to do this over here. Well, do you value the family? Do you care about us? We need to have, and I can't say that
Like on
I've,
Super Bowl Sunday.
yes, because Super Bowl Sunday's coming up, y'all, right? And I'm trying to do a little surprise for one of our children.
Ladies, let me know.
We just gonna
Like,
sidebar real
yeah, we're gonna
fast.
sidebar. So ladies, let us know.
You didn't even know before.
Let me know whether or not you would do what my wife is about to say
I'm
on
I,
Super Bowl
I'm going
Sunday.
to defer to you,
Okay,
sir.
you are. All right, but it was a conversation. It was a whole conversation.
Anyway, I'm trying to. We look. I'm trying to. His birthday is coming up this weekend. We supposed to be doing a surprise. Okay. And so my husband been knowing about this, but then he all of a sudden remembered after I've already told him a million times, like, oh wait a minute, it's Super Bowl Sunday. No,
Not this Sunday, but the following
whatever
Sunday.
the Sunday is.
Mhm.
Nope, we can't do it. Nope, we're gonna have to change that. I'm like, so to me, my thing is automatic. When I start to get like, oh, do we do this or do we do that? I'm just like, family come first. Right, that's a low key judgment the way I looked at him. But what I'm saying is, right, let's get to the essence of the issue. When I'm sharing what I feel, okay, you better go somewhere. Well, he was like, but it's Super Bowl Sunday. I'm like, but it's a birthday situation, and we need to we need to do this. And he's like, well, you can pick another day,
Yeah.
right? And so
I said
so
pick a Friday. We can take the kids out of school.
this mama said, take the kids out of school and let's do it on. And I'm like, so you want them to miss school and you gonna prioritize
They
the Super
wouldn't care.
Bowl?
Yeah, I
And
mean
I'm
they
like,
wouldn't.
yeah, what's the problem?
Yeah, they would enjoy it. They would
But
be happy.
we could be getting into that. This is a light example, right? But we could be getting into that and like judging each other. You know what I'm saying? On whatever. Because you can replace Super Bowl Sunday with like, you should be coming, what, you don't want to go to church? You should be coming to church.
Hmm.
And so you're trying to tell me that you need to see this game, you need to go to this thing with the fellas instead of going to church? Like, you can replace it with anything that, you can make a judgment on and be like, well, I want you to be there with me, right? And you're like, no, I need to watch the game. you know? And so what I'm saying is when you complain without blaming, what I'm saying to him is what my goal is, what I'm trying to do. This is what I'm trying, what I want to happen. And I also talked about the fact that it's a little frustrating to me when I'm like planning all of this and I'm telling you, and then you don't
Yeah.
actually, then you start criticizing. Well, you weren't really criticizing, but you start saying, yeah, no, it's not going to work. And at the 11th hour, right? But we're talking about the issue, the thing. We're not talking about each other.
Hmm.
And so complaining without blaming is very, very important. And it's
Yeah.
so much, I'm just going to be very honest, it's so much more fun to complain and blame. Bow, 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 bow.
You just want to blame, huh?
I'm just saying, it's just,
You
it's
just
just,
want to get it out.
it ain't even about me. I use it the same way. It's like we want to say, like, well, why wouldn't you? You should, like, it's just, we just want to deflect onto the person. But if we just talk about the issue and figure out how to work the issue through and complain without blaming, right, then we can keep the light in the relationship. We both have the same goal. We both want to make sure our child feels celebrated. We both want to have the family time.
Hmm.
we I don't know if we both want to watch the Super Bowl. I want to watch the commercials. But outside of that, you know what I mean? Like we're going in the same direction. So keeping the light in is something that you have to be really intentional about. And those are just two things that I wanted to share is complain without blaming, and really get into practice of recognizing when you need a hurt-free zone policy flowing. And that means we're just going to shut it down. We're not going to talk about issues for this period of time. We're just not going to do it, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
So, yeah. Mark said you forgot Usher. What about Usher?
He performing halftime. My wife don't know nothing about the Super Bowl, y'all.
Wait a minute, he is? I don't
Yeah.
even know nothing about nothing. Wait a minute, y'all.
Yeah, he is.
So wait a minute. So what's Taylor Swift doing?
I
She,
don't know. Somebody I don't know that part.
I saw something about Taylor Swift.
Y'all know about Taylor Swift? Larry, y'all, I mean, somebody from the Blame. Y'all want to
Mark,
come?
Usher ain't performing.
He is performing.
You seen that?
Yeah.
Okay, Marsha, thank you. Marsha said she heard Taylor Swift.
Hmm.
Oh. So Usher is the official performer. We done got this is very
Well, hold
important
on. I don't know.
information.
I'm saying Taylor Swift now. Who knows?
Let me
Who
see.
knows? But you about to
Somebody
Google
Google it. I'm
it?
about to Google it right now because I need to know. Because then that now if Usher is performing
Yvonne
halftime
said, when is his
performance.
birthday? It's actually this, what is it, Saturday? Yeah, this Saturday.
So we got to do some. We got to celebrate him, and then we're doing a big surprise
Hmm.
the next weekend.
Yeah, and then Larry said, just do it all at the same time or do it together. But we're gonna be taking him away somewhere. I'm all out. Hopefully he's not listening, but we're gonna be taking him somewhere to celebrate his birthday. So we couldn't do it all at the same time. Yeah. So um oh,
Oh yeah, we can. Yes. Okay.
really, bro?
Yes. I'm ready.
Now
I see it is Usher.
now you ready for Super
Well,
Bowl?
we can just go on ahead and just we can. I can
How am I supposed to
rearrange
feel about
that.
that?
We can
You willing to
rearrange
do it for
that.
Usher, but when I say something,
Yes.
mm-mm.
I'm all right. Yeah. There you go. Marsha said, Usher, I might just watch. Yes, I'm excited for the food, the ads, and Usher. Shoot. I'm about to, yeah, that's good. Okay, y'all got me invested. You got me a little more invested. The entertainment does it every time. Because when I heard Taylor Swift, I was like, I mean, no shade to Taylor and all y'all Taylor Swift fans out here, but that wasn't really doing nothing for
Yeah.
me. I was like, that's gonna be boring, but it's gonna be Usher.
Nah, I think yeah, Taylor Swift. She the reason why Kansas City. She ain't the reason, but like they on a
Don't
winning
be
streak.
saying nothing. What now?
They on a winning streak. Like she be going to the games and stuff. Like you know,
Why? What she got to do with them winning?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't be watching it all like that.
That's
Yeah,
the other
thank you,
thing. You
Larry.
don't even watch football like that. You all pressed. You watch
Because it's
basketball.
it's ritual. It's ritual. So I just wanted to be a part of the
I'm
experience.
fine with it, babe.
Taking some good food, some nachos and dip and
Yeah.
all that type
You
of
gonna
stuff.
put on like a Usher outfit?
No, motherfucker.
get
What are you
get
talking
into it. We
about?
get into it. We're gonna be in that Joe. Get the Usher energy going.
She the good luck charm.
Yvonne said Taylor might just be there for her mans.
Hmm.
Okay. What's up, Epaphroditus? We see you. All right, y'all know about all the I don't be knowing about nothing. How do y'all be keeping up with this? What y'all watch? Entertainment Tonight? What y'all be doing? I need to know.
TMZ, all of that.
TMZ.
All right, Blamley. Y'all got any questions or anything you want to lift up based off of what we shared tonight? Want to give y'all an opportunity? Just raise your hand. We'll bring you forward,
Oh
and
yeah. Or drop it
you
in
can
the
share a
chat
thought, or you could drop it in the chat.
and share with them what's coming up.
Oh,
When will it be released?
yeah.
You know,
So what's coming up, y'all, is that
everybody.
we're going to be doing an Intimacy Unleashed Summit. Intimacy Unleashed Summit. I believe
Yes.
that's February the 17th. So blamely, y'all get that inside the calendar. First and foremost, and then everybody else, to get it, we'll get it shortly thereafter. So it'll be a link for you to register. So make sure you do that. The calendar will definitely be coming out no later
Mm.
than tomorrow. So be on the lookout for that in terms of all of the upcoming events this month. We excited. This is the love month.
Yes, this is the Love Month. This is Black History Month. All the
Yes.
good stuff. Intimacy Unleashed Summit is going to be phenomenal because intimacy has so many layers to it, so many
Hmm.
levels to it. And so we're going to get into it emotional, mental, physical, sexual, spiritual, all of those things to increase the intimacy. And y'all should know, especially Blamily, you actually cannot be intimate with anybody else, and you cannot be close to anybody else, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, physically, right? You can't do that with anybody else if you have not first done it with yourself. So what does that even mean? What does that look like? You know what I mean? You got to actually get into that space with yourself. And so we're going to have a good time at the Intimacy Unleashed Summit. We're going to have special guests and some good
Hmm.
conversation.
Alexa got a question for you.
Usher's gonna come and perform the halftime of it. Like, all right, Electra. Electra says, when you do the exercise, are you talking about the hurt-free zone? I think that's what you're talking about.
Hmm.
Are both partners agreeing to it, or is one choosing to do so? So I think that's a great question because I know that there will be some to be like, well, we can both agree and I can bring it to them, but that don't mean that they're gonna honor it, right? And so yes, you ideally want to be able to say like, hey, I heard about this idea of us really trying to kind of bring the light in, bring the good energy in, bring the inspiration in, the ability to hear God's voice, all of that stuff, so we can do a hurt-free zone, and this is what it looks like. And ideally, your partner will agree with you and be like, yeah, let's do that. But if they don't and they're like, all right, or whatever, or they don't say nothing, you can just still say, you didn't. I'm not sure if you're with this or not, or what have you, but I'm doing that.
Hmm.
So I'm going to be really intentional about, bringing in the positivity, doing things to bring more light into the relationship, and really not getting into talking about some of the issues that we have. So and you say it, y'all, at a time when y'all are not in a thing, like when y'all are not having an argument or something like that, so that you have let them know, so that when they perhaps are not tripping about what you're talking about and they are bringing maybe some negativity, that you can remind them, I'm in the hurt free zone. I'm in the hurt free zone. Let me tell you something. You do that a few times. You think you're not shifting the energy in your relationship? Absolutely, you are. Absolutely. So you absolutely can move forward with it, regardless, as to whether or not they agree or not. All right. So everybody, be on the lookout for Intimacy Unleashed coming. Blamily, the calendar dropping later on this evening, or is it sometime in the middle of the night? And of course, if you have not watched any of our episodes of our podcast, right on YouTube, go and check out Relationship Cheat Code. You can also follow Relationship Cheat Code on Instagram to get the clips and so forth and stay tuned to everything. We appreciate everybody for joining us on tonight. Make room for the miracles.
Hmm.
Develop a hurt-free zone. Complain without blaming. Be open to the light. Be open to the light.